Nothing like morning coffee. Let's check out and see what the weather is. And let's get on with the news. Okay, Google, what's the weather going to be like today?
In the Villages today, it'll be partly cloudy, with a forecasted high of 82 and a low of 64. Right now, it's 71 and partly cloudy.
All right. Alright, time for the news. Been a while, ain't it? Christmas and New Year's and the holidays. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. I know we did. We had a lot of visitors, neighbors' kids, neighbors' grandkids. They all stopped by. We went over to our neighbor's house and had Christmas dinner, I believe, with them. We had, I don't know, there's always stuff going on. Parties. I went to a New Year's Eve party. We left early because both Sue and I, it was a tiring day. So we left early and came home. We didn't stay up till midnight. But other than that, yeah, you know, emails from the kids and most of the grandkids, not all of them, but yeah, we had our thing. News. Let me try to find it here. I haven't done it for a while, so I'll skip through this. This is probably at least 2 weeks worth of news here. Some of it you might already even know about. Okay, talk of shooting between teens spurs middle school teacher to seek help. Woman on the run in food stamp fraud case nabbed by Lady Lake police. She got caught for taking food stamps. Look at her. Come on. This thing just don't focus when I want it to. She looks mad, doesn't she? Like she got caught, she's mad. Be mad at yourself. Golf course near sinkhole ravaged homes closed for ongoing retention pond repairs. That's Torrey Pines. That's up there by Nancy Lopez. That sinkhole they had, I don't know, nearly a year ago maybe. That machine makes a really good latte. Once you get everything dialed in, boy. So anyway, they're still working with that hole up there. That report was probably from 2 weeks ago. Man reportedly exposes himself at Perkins restaurant in the Villages. What's the matter with people nowadays? I mean, really, what is the matter with people? Let me read a little bit about that. It's probably some drug addict. That's all you have around here anymore. Drug addicts, shoplifters, and you know, just people that can't seem to find a job. Police were called to investigate a report of a man exposing himself at Perkins restaurant in the Villages. The middle-aged man wearing khaki pants exposes himself to two boys shortly before 6 p.m. December the 6th at Perkins restaurant at 905 Bashara Boulevard. That's up at Spanish Springs. That Spanish Springs area, just, I'm sorry, but slowly it's just getting more and more decrepit. And I really feel sorry for the people that's there. 90% of the people up there are just fine. They've been there for 20, 25 years. They bought a new house back in the day. And over a period of time, grandma's passed away. Grandpa got put in a nursing home. Grandkids and useless other children have moved in their home. It ain't been that long ago in Polo Ridge. This is what happened to an old guy. These people, his kids, grandkids, I don't know who they were. They all moved in the house. She brought a boyfriend. He brought another girlfriend. They all just kind of moved in there. 6 months later, the police or an ATF are breaking into this house because they turned it into a meth lab or something. Some drug paraphernalia and stuff was in there. And they arrested them all and put them in jail. Poor old guy that, who knows what was the matter with him. Could have been Alzheimer's, I don't know. They finally put him into assisted living place. I assume the home has probably been maybe sold. I don't know that either, but this is what's happening as the people get older. Younger people are taking advantage, and it's not all younger people either. I'm sure you've read about some nurses and things that's taking advantage, but it's like a cancer. And as my neighborhood right now is fairly new, people here, I'm gonna say are old, but you know, we're all old. As we get older, and it'd be like a cancer. It's going to start happening here. This is why I hate seeing 35 and 40-year-old kids moving in, because it's just a sign that things are going to change, and I don't like it. Well, one of the boys was helping his brother wash his hands in the men's restroom when the man reportedly exposed himself. The man also tapped one of the boys on his rear end. The boy told his mother, who reported the incident to the restaurant's manager. Restaurant manager tried to find the man, but he apparently had left the restaurant, so he called the police. Police tracked him down and arrested him. I assume they had substantial evidence, because sometimes just because somebody says something isn't necessarily true, and especially at children, you got to be careful about that, because these kids are being raised under a scare tactic. Actually, parents are telling them, "Oh, don't ever talk to a stranger. Don't ever, if somebody ever touches you, just run away and scream," and all this kind of stuff. Kids aren't even growing up normal, I don't think, anymore. Just here the other day, I was told about Universal Studios in the Harry Potter part of that. You can Google this story. That some girl went off screaming because she said some man attempted to kidnap her or take her somewhere or something. I don't know what that whole story is, but I haven't read it. But another person that I talked to said they read the story, the rest of the story, so to speak, and said that the guy, they were in line or something. I can't remember how it all went, but anyway, that he had touched her or on her shoulder or touched her on her shoulder to go around her or something like that, and this girl just started screaming and carrying on. So obviously they're going to take the child's word for it. I don't think there was any arrest involved. If there was, the charges were dropped. I don't know. You may have to Google it, but you got to think, inside the Universal Studios, who would think about abducting a child inside one of the amusement parks? I mean, there's cameras everywhere. Everybody knows this, right? Everybody walking around has a camera. Everybody walking in this place has a camera. And the Universal Studios and Disney and the rest of them have hidden cameras everywhere. They're watching people. They're observing people. They're seeing what's going on. Every store has them, you know. So I'm just amazed when somebody does something, knowing that there's cameras everywhere. But like I said before, nobody ever said that a crook was smart. CDD 7 board renders decision on village's couple's flag lawn ornament. Remember that I reported that? They have a little, let me see if I can show you a picture of it if it'll focus. See that flag in their front yard? There's nothing wrong with the American flag, but the CDD 7, District 7, said that the way the flag is displayed, it's more of a lawn ornament instead of being patriotic. Flag poles are acceptable with the flag on them, so on and so forth, and as long as they're treated right and so on and so forth. But they're saying the way that flag was displayed, it was ornamental, and you're not allowed to have ornaments displayed in your front yard at CDD 7 in District 7. So they come up to a decision. Let's see what that decision was. The Community Development District 7 Board of Supervisors on Thursday rendered a decision on the, remember this is probably a week and a half old news here, on the classification of a flag as a lawn ornament in the village of Hemingway. Joseph and Margaret Agansey, who lives on Jebber Loop, had originally appealed to the board in October regarding their flag. At that meeting, the board agreed to postpone a decision until December. An anonymous complaint had been received about 3 flags planted in the ground at the Gassi's home. They were a flower flag, a Blue Lives Matter flag, and an American flag. There were also statues on a wall. 2 of the flags have been removed. The statues were taken down, but the American flag remained on display. We will continue to fly the flag as long as we live in our home, Margaret Agansey vowed at Thursday's meeting. After a great deal of research of the United States Flag Code, District Counsel Valerie Fuchs concluded the item in the Gansey's yard was hung in a respectful manner, was an actual American flag, and was not in a position to be easily soiled or stained. In other words, it can't touch the ground. The Gansey had also indicated that the flag was properly lit at night and was changed out every 2 months. See, there's rules on proper way of displaying a flag. I don't know if it's actually law, but there are rules. And this is a big military area, the Villages. Lots of military people here. And if you don't display a flag properly, I'm sure somebody's going to call you on it. If it was touching the ground or tattered, it would be easier to decide, Fuchs admitted. She said it was possible for CDD7 to keep the current policy prohibiting lawn ornaments, but still allow the Ganseys to keep their flags. She said CDD7 could make such judgments on a case-by-case basis. I agree with that. What the flag represents is pride. CDD7 Supervisor Jerry Vicente told the Grancis, man, these names, God, I applaud you for going this far. It's emotional for me. I wish more people cared about the flag. And it goes on and on and on. I warned the board we are getting into an area, maybe rightfully so, but it's going to come up again, he warned. Fu said she did not anticipate being flooded with similar situations and called it a narrow precedent. Well, they are setting precedent because CD8, CD9, CD10, all the way down to 12, they're going to do other silly things that may or may not include the flag, and they're going to use that as a reason to be allowed to do it. I know that because I had an argument with IRS one time. It's a cute little story I'll tell you someday. I won. So when somebody tells you you can't beat the government, that's not true. I won. So, somebody remind me about that and I'll do a little video about that story. It could help other people. Because I will forget. I'm the guy that'll talk to you by noon, and by 1 o'clock I'll forget your name that I even talked to you. I do it all the time. And I don't do it to be disrespectful. I just don't remember. Okay, let's move on to some other news. Neighbor's dog over here barking. The problem with the winter time and all the snowbirds are here is all the noise again. All the noise, all the inconveniences of everything. Getting tea times on a golf course, getting our normal table after a golf game. Noise like that, dogs yipping all day long. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, but I can. It's distracting. Neighbor over here is having a pool put in the yard, so it's the noise of all that. And cars parked in the street because their driveways ain't big enough for the visitors, and I don't know. It gets really frustrating. CDD4 preps for a potential lawsuit against owners of sinkhole-damaged home. Now this goes way back, at least a year ago probably I'd say, where they had a sinkhole up there. 2 homes were damaged. Both of them was a total loss. The one lady or guy, or both of them, I don't know, they haven't done anything yet because it's an ongoing argument with their insurance company. If that jots anybody's memory that I reported that. Because they had a swimming pool. It seems to me the insurance says the pool wasn't added on to their policy, so they're not paying for the replacement of a pool or for the pool. It's just arguments with the insurance company, so they haven't done anything. Well, their deed up there, the restriction up there says that after a sinkhole and for any damage to the home, it has to be addressed within a certain time frame. I don't remember what that is, like 90 days or something. You have to get on that. And they haven't done anything, and they gave them an extension once or twice. They gave them an extension, and they still haven't done anything. So now they're preparing to take it to the next step. CDD2 supervisor claims some gate attendants falling short of their duties. Yeah, I'll go along with that. I've seen it. Detective who cracked a cold case murder jailed on domestic violence charges. That's too bad. That's too bad when one of our finest goes down, you know. Villager remains in ICU after golf cart struck by vehicle that ran stop sign. In the wintertime, I'm telling you, you got to be very cautious around here, because there's people that come down here from all over the United States, from, just imagine it. They want to get out of the cold weather, they come down here 3 months out of the year, January, February, and March. Here lately, it's been taking longer for them to go back home. They stay till the end of April, they stay till the end of May. I mean, it varies, but most of them January, February, March, and then they go back north. And those that come down here, they're just not used to things. They rent, they come down, they spend 3 months down here because they're interested in the villages, they might be interested in buying, so they rent for 3 months. And I say that's great, that's what you should do, to get a good idea. I would say rent for 2 or 3 years. Try the Spanish Springs area, then try the Lake Sumter area, then try the Brownwood area, then maybe go down to the Finney area, and you know, and rent, and get an idea, get a good feel, what goes on there, how is the life there, shopping and all this kind of stuff that goes with it, and see if you like it or not. And see which area that maybe you like the best. But you got to be very careful. I see people already, I mean, here it is just in the first week of January, and I've seen 3 cars, 3 already, going in a roundabout the wrong direction. How they do this is beyond me, because the road paint, the stripes in the road, they all go to the right into a roundabout. There's a sign before you go in there telling you, showing you the direction in a roundabout to the right. The road even kind of bends a little bit to the right to kind of point you the right direction. And these people pulls up to a roundabout, they will stop and turn left. And I am perplexed about why they would even consider doing that, but they've done it. There's been golf carts lost. This is normal, but you can be lost, and you can be lost. This lady was seriously lost. I mean, to the point of she could have been killed. She was on Highway 466, which is a Gibson County road, but in the villages it's a dual lane highway. 2 lanes one way, 2 lanes another way, and then there's turn lanes. And when you get further out toward, say, 441 and 27, it goes back into a single lane. But we're talking, I don't know what the speed limit is over there, but maybe legally it's 45, but people run 55 all the time. She's on a golf cart, and she's way over there. She's over by Lady Lake. She's coming up to 27 and 441. And then the Lady Lake Police Department caught her, and then they gave her a police escort back to get her on a golf cart trail. So you got to be very careful around here in the wintertime, man. I mean, you know the old saying, happens? It does. Okay. Plan scrapped for RV park in Lady Lake. Oh, I thought they was going to get that through. I was really hoping they would, because I enjoy RV, and I used to camp years ago. We had 2 motor homes, I had a pull-behind camper, I had all kinds of stuff. I don't have it anymore, but I always enjoyed the motor homes. That would be my choice of mode of transportation in an RV. It'd be a motor home of some kind. And when I heard about that one over there, because I got many friends that come down here in the wintertime, and they have their travel trailers or motor homes and whatever, and I like to go over there and visit them and things, and I was really hoping I'd get that, but plan scrapped for RV park in Lady Lake in favor of high-end 55-plus development. I can understand that. It's prime property. Instead of having the RV park in there, which I'm not sure what kind of property taxes that would bring in, but I'm sure the high-end $500,000 homes will bring in much more property taxes. So that'd be my guess. Caregiver arrested in theft of pain pills from elderly woman in Wildwood. See, as I was telling you, it's not always the younger people causing these drug problems around here, or causing a lot of the problems. They do cause a lot of the problems. And I won't back up from that. They don't cause all of it. Here's a 61-year-old caregiver has been arrested in the theft of hydrocodone pain pills from an elderly woman in Wildwood. A patient that needs these pain pills, I don't know what's the matter with the lady, but she obviously needs them because getting prescription pills from a doctor nowadays is like pulling teeth. You can't hardly get them anymore. So if she's got them, I'm going to take a guess and say she's terminal, because when my dad was terminal, I was told that by the hospice caregiver, that once you're declared terminal, because hospice takes over your medicine once you have hospice come in. If you don't know that, I'm telling you. You can have your doctor and he'll prescribe all this medicine, and that's good. But if you're terminal and you call hospice to come in, hospice takes over your medicine at that point. They may or may not decide that you need all that medicine. And she told me when my dad was there that she said if he needs any pain pills, she said, you let me know. She said, because I can get him all he wants because he's declared terminal. I was, really? He said, yeah. And I said, well, okay. So we'd ask Dad every day, you know, are you okay? Any pains or anything? He didn't have any for the longest time. And then the hospice nurse came in and asked him how he was feeling, and he was talking about having this backache. And that was probably because he was bedridden, and even though we tried to get him to set, well, you know, I don't even get into all that story, but yeah. So she told me, she said, I ordered him some hydrocodone pills. She said, they'll personally deliver them. You have to be here to sign for them. Well, I was living with Dad while he was sick. I wasn't going to go anywhere because I knew the day was coming. So I said, I'm not going home till this is all over. And they brought him a bottle of hydrocodone pills, a full bottle. There must have been, I don't know how many pills, 100 pills in there. And then, of course, when Dad passed away, and they also brought him a bottle of morphine that was given by an eyedropper. And she told me how to do it and all this and that, because apparently they can't do it. They can get it, but they can't administer it, but I could. Maybe because I was his, what do you call it, his executor, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, they brought all that. And then, of course, when he passed, you got to call a hospice. They set everything up for the funeral home to come pick him up and all this and that. And they also have to witness any pain medication that you have laying around that was for that patient. They witnessed those pills, and that it was an unopened box of morphine. We didn't even have to use it, but because it was there, they have to witness you pouring it down the toilet and flushing it to get rid of it. And so that's how that was disposed of. So that's how I know that if you're terminal, you can get all the pain medication you want. Some relief could be coming to notoriously backed up intersection. That's got to be Rolling Acres Road. It is Rolling Acre Road or Ann County Road 466. That noise. Driver says he drank at country club in the Villages before collision on Morris Boulevard. 26-year-old man admitted to law enforcement he had been drinking beer at a country club in the Villages prior to a collision on Morris Boulevard. Amberwood Executive Golf Course will be closed until further notice after taking on water. Village of Sunset Point man in Corvette arrested after causing backup at gates. I don't know. How do you cause a backup at a gate? I mean, how do you do that? A Village of Sunset Point man driving a Corvette was arrested after causing a backup at gate in the Villages. Sumter County Sheriff's deputies were called shortly before 6 p.m. Monday to the intersection of Stillwater Trail and Pelzer Avenue in the village of Caroline after a yellow Corvette driven by 48-year-old Sean David Stockdale had backed up traffic at the gate. Well, I'm just going to take a guess. I don't know if he lives here, a snowbird, or just visiting somebody at that time. But 6 p.m., he's probably been down at the square, had one too many. Stockdale, who lives at 1315 Sunset Point Boulevard, initially denied he had been drinking, claiming he left his friend's house 2 streets down the road and was heading home. Deputy spotted Stockdale trying to hide containers of 4 Loco fruit punch and 4 Loco watermelon under the passenger seat. When the deputy asked Stockdale to take part in a field sobriety exercise, Stockdale responded, "I already know I'm going to jail." I don't know. Holiday lights fill old courthouse square in downtown Ocala. Restaurateur with magic touch taking over after Guy Ferrari's flop in the Villages. Yeah, Guy Ferrari, you know, the blonde-haired guy with the spiky haircut that has the Food Channel stuff, diners, drive-ins, and dives or something like that. He had a restaurant up around Lake Sumter. And I'm not going to blame Guy, you know, for the failure, or his manager, or whoever manages all that stuff for him. That building has had a problem ever since Friday's restaurant moved out. Friday's, you know, they went bankrupt. I think most of their places nationwide closed down, and that was one of them. And they've been several restaurants in there, one of which was the family that owns and runs City Fire restaurants all around the Villages. They were in there. It was called some kind of a steakhouse, John's Steakhouse, something like that. And we could use a good steakhouse in the Villages. It flopped. It didn't make it. Then Guy went in there. It flopped. It didn't make it. And now somebody else is buying it or renting it. That's probably Villages property, so they're probably renting the building. Who is it? FMK Restaurant. That's Fred Karamapru. I can't pronounce his name. They got a lot of restaurants around here, and they all seem to be doing okay. They recently opened up the Bluefin seafood restaurant down in Brownwood. That's the same people, FMK Restaurants. That's the company. And they got Evans Prairie, they got Belle Glade, they have Bonifay Restaurant down in Brownwood, they got Bluefin, they got Scooples. Far north, they also have, I believe it's Orange Blossom Country Club. They run that. And I don't know what else they got. So they seem to be pretty successful. So hopefully they'll be able to go in this building and do something with it to make it successful. My biggest problem with the restaurant isn't the restaurants that's been there. I don't go there for one reason. Anybody that's been there, the way this building is designed, it is so noisy inside. You can't even hear your conversation across the table. That's how noisy it is. It is a constant roar of noise, of people. It's like it echoes everywhere. And I can't stand it, so I just don't even go there because of that reason. So, if by some chance somebody from FMK Restaurant watches my videos, and they may, because I got a lot of people in the Village themselves that watch my videos, or if any of my subscribers, if you know any of those people, you know, tell them. Because I go to Evans Prairie all the time, and I do say things up there to the manager. Whether it gets to the guy or not, I don't know. Put a ceiling in that place up there. Something to deaden the noise, because that's the reason why a lot of people don't go there. And that's the main reason why I won't go there, is because of the noise. If I hear that they do something up there to kind of soundproof that building, I'll give it a shot. Sinkhole damaged pond in village of Alhambra, draining again after recent $100,000 repair. Collision of rainy construction trucks marks company's second serious crash this year at Finney. That's where all the construction's going on. I'm telling you, people, I'm telling you. in the wintertime down here. You got to be very careful. I'm not saying that, you know, they make it sound like it's a truck driver's fault. I'm not saying it is. Being a truck driver, I know how they always blame the biggest thing out there. I don't know what happened here. A lady could have pulled in front of this guy. I don't know. People will stop in the middle of the road and point. I'm telling you, I've seen so much silly crap down here. They'll be in a golf cart and they'll stop in the middle of the golf cart road. People, it is a road. And they'll stop in the middle of the road and talk on their cell phone instead of pulling off in the grass or something like that. I mean, it's goofy. I saw a guy, he stopped in the middle of a tunnel to put down his curtains on the golf cart because it was raining. Now, that's the kind of stupid stuff I'm talking about. Commonsensical stuff. Man arrested after showing up at teen's home and threatening to use 9mm gun. Health inspector orders Ocala fast food restaurant to shut its doors. It looks like it's an Arby's. It is an Arby's. SEC levels more charges in $1.2 billion Ponzi scheme linked to Village's cosmetologist. See them people? They look familiar to you? Did you invest any money in their company? If you did, you're going to lose it all. Mold problem said to be underlying factor in Wildwood police chief's abrupt departure. Here we go again. 23-year-old resident of the Village is arrested with drugs in speeding BMW. 23-year-old resident of the Villages was arrested when he was found to be in possession of drugs. Austin Lamanca Hibbs, who lives at 917 Vasquez Avenue in the Village of Pine Ridge, had been driving a black BMW with Virginia plates at 11:27 p.m. Thursday when he was captured on radar traveling 73 miles per hour in a 35 miles per hour zone on Morris Boulevard, according to an arrest report from Sumter County's Sheriff's Department. Initially, the BMW began to pick up speed, but eventually stopped at a security gate on Moyer Loop. See, them security gates are good for a lot of things. 73 miles an hour, and if it hadn't been for that gate, he probably wouldn't have slowed down a bit. When the deputy approached the car, the odor of marijuana was detected. A jar containing 4 grams of marijuana was found in the compartment of the driver's door. Lamanca Hibbs was also found to be in possession of a controlled substance. He was arrested on drug paraphernalia, possession charges, and booked at Sumter County Detention Center and was released on $3,000 bond. See, I don't have nothing against the kids. I've been accused of that. I have a problem with these 25, 28, 32, 35, 45-year-old drunks, drug addicts, thieves. That's the kids that I got a problem with. And every one of those kind of kids always are living with somebody. Go get a job. Get out. People complain about how illegal immigrants are taking American jobs. I mean, an illegal immigrant can find a job and you can't? Nah, I ain't swallowing that one. Operational changes to begin at Del Mar Gate near Spanish Springs. They've been having a lot of problems with Spanish Springs with a lot of different things. Just a lot of different things. Village of Rio Ponderosa man arrested second time this year in theft at Walmart. A 54-year-old villager was arrested after attempting to steal a shopping cart full of merchandise from Walmart in Leesburg. Ocklawaha man behind bars. Now this ain't got nothing to do with the Villages. This is around the Villages. Ocklawaha man behind bars after woman's throat cut in love triangle battle. Oh man. Vodka drinking villager arrested in alleged attack on woman who recently had knee surgery. So we're in LaBelle, village of LaBelle. Sumter County Sheriff's Department deputies were called at 8:50 p.m. Thursday to the home of Jujube Avenue in the village of LaBelle, where they found a woman who was visibly distraught and crying. She said 72-year-old Robert Charles Redmond had choked her, pushed her chest, held her arms down and hit her knee that he knew she had surgery on, according to the arrest report. She said the native New Yorker had consumed half of a 750 milliliter bottle of vodka and that they had been arguing since she had arrived home at 3 p.m. that day. Well, I don't need to read any more. Just another alcohol-related problem. See, here's another thing. I don't get it. I just don't get it, Mom and Dad. I just don't get it. A sex offender recently released from prison has taken up residence in the Villages. David Harrison, 45, was released this month from Florida Department of Corrections after serving a little more than 2 years on charges of battery on a law enforcement officer and failure to register as a sex offender. Harrison on December 10th registered on an address at 1705 Kiley Court on the historic side of the Villages. According to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, it's a manufactured home that dates back to 1985. Harrison's most recent stint behind bars stems from New Year's Day 2015 attack on a law enforcement officer at the Villages Regional Hospital. He was tasered in the incident. He was later sentenced to 2 years and 8 months in prison. He was convicted in 1997 in Sumter County on charges of lewd and lascivious behavior involving a child under the age of 16. He was also convicted of failure to register as a sex offender in 2005 in Lake County and 2007 in Marion County. Harrison, who stands 6 feet 2 inches tall and weighs 252 pounds, has access to a tan 1983 Ford station wagon and red 1996 Dodge pickup, according to his registration on file with Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Sick, sick, sick. I don't know. Is it the water we drink? Is it the food we eat? I don't know. Where's all these sick perverts coming from? I don't know. A 38-year-old suspected thief was arrested after attempting to steal Nike shoes and clothes and fleeing from store personnel at Bealls. I call it Bealls because looks like B-E-A-L-L-S. My wife says that thing that looks like an A is not an A, it's just a bell, to let you know that it's pronounced bells. Well, I think it's confusing. Let me see if I can get you to focus in on that. See what I'm saying? They don't look like B-E-A-L-L-S, Bealls. She says bells, so I'll take her word for it. She's the shopper, I'm not. New route for running of the Squares 5K next month at Lake Sumter Landing. They do that every year. I think it's a charity thing. I'm not sure what charity, but it's a 5K run. They call it the running of the Squares. We have 3 squares. 5K. I don't do the math. I don't know how many miles that is, but anyway, they do that every year. Homeless man arrested after refusing to leave residence in the Villages. You find an empty house, you break in or whatever, and then when they catch you at it, you say, "No, I'm not leaving." Where do people get these ideas? Let me see. You know, it's not that I don't feel sorry for some of these homeless people, and I don't feel sorry for all of them at all, because it's a life choice. Some of them, this is what they chose to do. It's no different than what you call a full-time RVer. Technically, I guess they're homeless, but they chose to be a full-time RVer. They want to travel and live in that RV. So do I feel sorry for them because they don't own a house? No, because this is the life they've chosen. Do I have anything against that? No. Actually, that's kind of what I intended to do the first 5 years of my retirement, but because of medical issues and this and that, it's kind of out the window. It's not going to happen. But some of these homeless people, is what they want. Police were called at 2:50 p.m. Thursday to the home in the 1700 block of Myrtle Beach Drive on the historic side, way up on the other side of Spanish Springs, after 56-year-old Douglas Hirsch locked himself in an outbuilding and refused to leave. Oh, he wasn't in the house, he's in an outbuilding, according to the arrest report. Pennsylvania native told police he was homeless and had been so far nearly a year. Hirsch has been issued a trespass order for that address 3 days earlier, as well as in 2017. Hurst was arrested on trespass charges. So he's been told to leave his place a couple of times. I wonder why he keeps going back to the same place. I'm just curious. Maybe he knew the person that lived there. I don't know. Shoplifting suspect with drugs arrested at Belk at La Plaza Grande in the Villages. That's Spanish Springs. It's a young man. He's fairly unkept. That's how my way my mom would put it. He looks unkept. Shoplifting suspect with drugs was arrested at Belk at La Plaza Grande in the Villages. William David Pintado, 40, of Leesburg, on Thursday afternoon entered the store and went to the men's fragrance area where he selected 3 bottles, removed the security barcodes, and concealed the bottles in his pockets and his pants. And anyway, he tried to shoplift a little bit of stuff. Dunellon Dad, D-U-N-N-E-L-L-O-N, Dunellon Dad, behind bars after a threat to shoot students at middle school. Oh man, Dad, that was brilliant. Just brilliant. You're raising your kids right, making threats like that. Stupid idiot. Groundbreaking NFL coach Tony Dungy coming to the Villages. The Colts hasn't had a team really worth a crap ever since Tony Dungy retired and left. We had 2 things at that time. We had one of the best quarterbacks we've ever had, and we had one of the best coaches we ever had. And when they both left, the owner of the Colts, I don't know if he turned into one or was always one, was a drug addict. He got arrested once for drugs. He got a court order to go to rehab. Who knows if that works or not. He was on the verge of losing the team. The other coaches, or team owners, I guess, somehow, some way can take the team away from you. I'm not big on sports, so I don't understand how all this works. But he was on the verge of losing the Colts. Villagers being inundated with calls alleging fraudulent Social Security activities. Villagers are being inundated with phone calls alleging fraudulent Social Security activity. The agency is reminding residents that Social Security does not call and does not threaten arrest over the phone. If you get such a call, the best advice is to just hang up. They tell you this time and time and time and time again, year after year after year after year, and yet people keep falling for this stuff. Hawks Bay Executive Golf Course will be closed until further notice. All of them are up north around Nancy Lopez area. So we had a lot of rain here about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And like I said, this is older news because I haven't done it for a while. So it probably might be open by now, but they probably got flooded up there on the golf course because we get a lot of rain. Like I said before, most of the flood water is deterred to the golf courses, so it doesn't flood streets and stuff like that. And let me see what else we got here. This is more recent. Towering structure at Brownwood will combine healthcare center with hotel. Yeah. I haven't been down there for a while. By the way, Shooter's World, I guess you would call it a soft opening. They're open. One of my subscribers sent me a message the other day. Apparently he's been there. I haven't been there. They may not even allow me to go in and film because, you know, I don't know. A lot of people are just kind of funny about it, especially business owners. But I guess they have guns and things on display that you can look at. I'm not sure if the shooting range is open. I don't know much about it, but apparently Shooter's World, parts of it anyway, is open now. The towering structure taking shape at Brownwood continues to have the curious looking skyward. The red crane is visible from great distances as work continues on the Center for Advanced Healthcare at Brownwood and the Brownwood Hotel and Spa, a multi-specialty medical center. The 240,000 square foot complex is expected to open in 2020. The 32-acre golf cart accessible complex brings together the village's health, Lake Medical Imaging, Florida Cancer Specialist, St. Luke's Laser Institute, and Lake Center for rehab. The diagram at the construction site indicates the complex will include a Wolfgang Puck restaurant as well. There'll be all kinds of stuff in it and around it as time goes on. I'm not going to read that whole thing. Villager arrested after allegedly coming on to restaurant worker at Lake Sumter. A 64-year-old villager was arrested and charged with battery after assaulting and making unwanted sexual advances on an employee who had been trying to close up a restaurant at Lake Sumter Landing. Now, this ain't what you think. This was a young man that worked at, let me see if I can find out. I thought it was Gators. Gators up there. Yeah, RJ Gators. See that lady? She wouldn't leave him alone. He was just trying to close the place so he could go home. And she just kept following this guy around, and let's just say she was grabbing and doing things. And he finally goes across the street over there to, what's that called? Red Sauce. And I don't know if they called the police anyway, he had some witnesses there that verified. So anyway, the police was finally called. They go over to Gators. They pull up the camera. They showed some things that she had did, and he wasn't doing anything. It was all her. She was arrested because she just wouldn't leave this young feller alone. So there you go. All right, that's enough. I think that pretty much catches everything up. I'm sorry for the 2-week delay and all this news, but with the holidays and everything, and around the house here, we've got a fairly significant medical issue we have to tend to. And so as time goes on, my videos here on YouTube may become sporadic. A couple times a week, maybe 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I don't know that. I've warned you guys about this before. So I don't know. As I can, I am going to post. I have some other videos that are ready to post. But anyway, I do have some to post that you're going to like. I've got a conversation with some local people that just moved to the villages and bought a house. And I talked to them for an extensive length of time of what they like, the buying process, things that they don't like, problems they had. All these things, and it's all from them, nothing from me, all from them. I also did a walkthrough on their home after they finally got furniture moved in and all that kind of stuff. And so yeah, those 2 are coming up. I also got one, I think it's a Gardenia, no, a Sarasota. I forget the model. But anyway, it's in the Finney area, brand new home. I got a walkthrough there, and I got a chance to talk to the new owners there. Very nice people, and they were all gracious enough to let me and my wife go in and walk around and take video and everything. And so I got that video coming up. So I got some video, but it's going to take a while because I got a lot of other things to do. I haven't golfed for 2 weeks, and I can see that I may not golf for a while. So, you know, we'll get things going. We're working on it. So in the meantime, just be patient, hang in there. I've got to do a new subscriber video too. I just checked that the other day, and I've got a lot of new subscribers, so I got to say my thank you to all of them. And so until then, I'm going to get out of here on this beautiful day. It's 80-some degrees. It's a little overcast today, but that's okay because it got with a little bit of a breeze. We're going to have a nice little breeze going through the lanai here, and it feels good. So I'm going to get out of here. So in the meantime, let me just say, I hope you have a great 2019. I'm going to have a good 2019, and I am on the other side. I'm on the good side of life, the retirement side. So I will see you guys on the other side.